got to tell you about this. Mark and Ruth are gabbling away about this because Temple is out now. It is on Sky. You will be able to get it in that sort of box set experience. But you actually discovered it by watching with your wife, watching a box set. Did you not?
Yeah, we were sitting on the sofa at home watching this Norwegian show, and her producer hat was on, and she said, "I wonder who's got the rights." And I had no idea. And 2 days later, we were on a plane to Oslo and went and talked to the guys who made it and said, "Can we make your show in the UK?" And they said yes. So we adapted it. We didn't remake it. There's a slightly different. We got a wonderful writer called Mark O'Rowe, who's an Irish playwright, and he adapted it and did all 8 episodes, which is very unusual.
So explain to people why it's called Temple, and then what's it about, and who do you play?
Temple, because the original Norwegian show is called Valkyrien, which is a disused underground station in Oslo. So I had to literally get the tube map out and find a station that we could name a show after. You know, Totteridge and Whetstone, with much respect, doesn't really cut it as a TV title. But I found Temple, and I realised it's in a beautiful place, part of London, and it's a catchy name, and that's basically how we came about.
And you actually used the Temple. You haven't done a set like Temple, did you? Use the underground?
We shot outside Temple Tube Station, yes. And then we built a huge set down in Southall, which was the underground tunnels, and we actually filmed in Aldwych and the Strand in the real tunnels.
So the story is Dr Daniel Milton, about who is you.
He set up an underground clinic. Danny Mays' character, Lee, comes to him with the opportunity to do some illegal surgery for money. Okay. And they get into an unholy alliance. It's a wonderful odd couple relationship, and we basically need each other. And we do, but it's not a medical show, I have to say that. It's more about being introduced to a group of characters who are hiding out down there.
And I
so
don't want
is your doctor, is he like a doctor to the mob, to gangsters and things?
Not really. He thinks, you know, that it's all going to be criminals that he's treating, but actually there's, you know, company bosses who don't want their shareholders to know they're ill, people who are off the grid. There's just a few people that we meet.
So you just go down the tube.
Yeah, yeah, and it's I think field hospital rather than...
Also, I've got to be very careful of spoiler alerts and all that, but is there something about your wife? Are you allowed to say anything about that I read?
He's tried, basically, it sounds like a dark series. No, but it's about love, really. His wife is sick and he wants to save his dying wife, and he gets himself into all sorts of scrapes in trying to do that.
But the lovely thing is, as well, you discovered this series with your wife. I presume your wife's working on this. How do you find that experience working with her? I just ask for a friend. Just ask out of curiosity.
Okay.
But you've worked as an exec producer on this, haven't you? So normally you're acting, she's producing, but you're both producing on this.
She's the main producer, but I've found that I actually have kind of learned some stuff over the 30 years I've been doing this. So I was, I think, a useful sounding board more than anything else. But it was interesting to be involved in casting and, you know, dialogue choices, location choices, that kind of thing. Yeah. And we work pretty well together, I have to say. And
Mark, you always seem to work. You really do. It just seems to be there's not a year goes by there's not a stage production or a television production or a movie, increasingly films. And then the skills that you have to have, because you have to be able, you know, you see a film like Robin Hood and you're riding horses, you know, you're playing knights, you're playing assassins, you're playing Secret Service people, you're playing baddies quite a lot. Yeah. 1 minute you have hair, the next minute you don't have hair on, which changes sort of character. Tinker Tailor, Soldier Spy, superb films as well. Your whole remit, I mean, it's a lifetime experience. Do you feel this is your time now? It's really coming good for you?
That's a really interesting point. When I started, the first day at drama school, I remember the principal saying, you know, if you want 40 years in this business or 50 years, there's no hurry. And I always took that to heart. So I did theatre for pretty much 10 years before I got in front of a TV camera, then some TV shows and then movies. So I feel like over the last 30 years, I've been slowly kind of building up a body of work.
You've done your apprenticeship.
Yeah, I mean, it does take a long time. And I feel like all of the characters I played have been interesting, and they're all leading to even more interesting characters in the future, hopefully.
Well, one interesting character in the future, you're going to be in the next Disney blockbuster, Cruella. Now, you haven't, until today, I believe, even been allowed to say the character you're playing. Because I asked this yesterday, my producer, when they said you were coming in, they went, he's not allowed to tell us, he's not allowed to tell us. But I gather that you are allowed to tell us today.
Yes. Disney are quite rightly very secretive, I think. The internet means that any information, you know, gets disseminated very quickly. And but it's called Cruella. It's the origin story of Cruella de Vil. To chat, you know, I'm proud of the work that I'm doing, and often I'll say things, and only afterwards will somebody go, "You shouldn't really have said that." Yeah. But I'm allowed to kind of say what I've just said, so that's cool.
Yeah. And the things you say, you talk about what you say there. Often, your accents. You'll have a Middle Eastern accent, you have a Russian accent, you have a very posh English accent, you'll have American accents. You've even had an Irish accent in a film that you were in with Jamie Dornan.
Yes,
you played Connor Cruise O'Brien. Yeah. Accents are your thing, then?
Well, I think acting is my thing. And when I was at drama school, I always wanted to play something that was not me. You know, I didn't really want to play the leads. I wanted to be a character actor. And if that meant a wig or an accent or a piece of costume or anything that would kind of not be me, I felt like that was acting. So I've always tried to look for that in the parts I played.
And was acting something from, you know, a young age that you knew you wanted to do? Was it a dream?
I came to it very late. I actually went on a completely different path and did law first and realised that it was a bit dry and a bit difficult for me. And the guys next door were doing theatre workshops and having way more fun. And literally, I just got into it in my late teens, early 20s.
The best thing of all would be now playing a lawyer.
Well, I realised that's probably what I wanted to do. I actually wanted to drive the big car with the briefcase and play a lawyer.
Well, they do a lot of acting, barristers and things, don't they? They are playing a role sometimes and performing.
There's a big crossover, actually, between the law and the you know, theatre industry.
With Temple, the whole idea, how long will this series last? For instance, I mean, if you're going to download this as a box set, how many episodes are we getting here?
You can absolutely binge watch. And what Sky do that's great, I think, is that they allow you to watch all 8 of them in one go. So it's all out there already. You can watch it through Sky, you can watch it through Virgin and Now TV. There's 8 episodes, they're all there. A lot of people did watch them all in the first night and then tweeted about how much they enjoyed them. But the difficulty with box setting is people think, oh, I'll watch it later. Whereas we actually need people to watch it now because we desperately want to do a second season because we've got it all ready to go.
Okay. Yes.
People have asked for it, but we need to get the numbers up for people to watch.
Right, so we need to download it, Temple, it's on Sky One, and then you want us to binge watch the whole lot.
But if you're leaving it to watch till later, that doesn't help us with our second season.
But as I understand it, the Norwegian series hasn't got a second season.
No, so now we can use it as we've got a fantastic treatment art worked out where we can leap off from what we've done in the first series, and there's a great load of stuff in the second one.
Well, good. I'm glad you're so enthusiastic about it, and I'm also just so impressed that you can leave that amazing movie career on hold to do this passion project, really, which is what it is.
Well, a lot of look at I don't know, Nicole. Look at all the girls in the women, I should say, in Big Little Lies. Yeah. Look at George Clooney, who's now doing TV. All of those movie actors are now doing TV, and the reason is that I think a lot of the best writing has gone to television, and you can tell a story over 8 episodes, 10, 20, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Look at Game of Thrones, the massive thing that was. Whereas movies, you're limited to your sort of 2-hour time slot.
Yeah.
But lovely that you still can do all of them.
Yeah, I mean,
films,
I'm really
movies,
lucky in that way. I feel I can move between theatre, TV and film.
And it's fascinating what you're saying about that binge-watching and box sets, because there's a very good series, I'm not going to name what it is, that I'm really into at the minute. And then I realise, that's it. You have to wait till the next week before you get it. And it's funny how we've all moved on because we want it now. We want the next episode. And that's
absolutely, and I think also you're in danger if you are releasing it every week that people will get, because there's so much content out there that people find something else they enjoy more, and then they'll be off.
You talked about wanting to be a lawyer. Could you be a doctor?
Do you know, funnily enough, I went to Guy's Hospital and I watched an operation because I needed to know how to use the instruments when we did the surgery sequences. And I know where the organs are now in the body. I know how to clamp off arteries and things. And I sort of worry that if anybody was in trouble, I might actually step forward and think I
see what your party piece is. Mark Strong, really appreciate it. Sky One's Temple, it is out there now. You can look it up, you can download it, and you can binge box set it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.